Stephen Hawking. 1. Early life and family background. 2. Academic path and early influences. 3. Doctoral research and the birth of a scientific vision. 4. Black holes and Hawking radiation. 5. The information paradox and quantum gravity. 6. Cosmological theories and the no-boundary proposal. 7. Popular science and global recognition. 8. Personal life and challenges. 9. Advocacy, ethics, and cultural impact. 10. Final years and legacy. 1. Early life and family background. Stephen William Hawking was born on January 8, 1942, in Oxford, England, during World War II. His birth coincided with the 300th anniversary of Galileo Galilei's death, a symbolic date for someone destined to become one of the most influential physicists of the modern age. Hawking was the eldest of 4 children born to Frank and Isabel Hawking. Frank was a medical researcher, while Isabel had been one of the first women to study at Oxford. The Hawking family valued education and intellectual curiosity. Although financially modest, they maintained a home filled with books, ideas, and intellectual debates. Stephen grew up in St. Albans, a town north of London, where he attended St. Albans School, though he was not at the top of his class. His friends and teachers noted his creativity, curiosity, and interest in the stars. From a young age, Stephen displayed an unusual aptitude for science and mathematics. He constructed rudimentary computers with friends, read advanced books on physics, and was particularly fascinated by the workings of the universe. His parents encouraged his academic interests, and by the time he was a teenager, he had resolved to study mathematics and physics. 2. Academic path and early influences. In 1959, at the age of 17, Hawking entered University College, Oxford, to study physics. Although he initially struggled with the transition, he eventually found his footing. Known for his quick wit and sense of humor, he became well-liked among peers. He also joined the Oxford rowing team as a coxswain, which helped him gain confidence and social acceptance. Hawking graduated with a first-class honors degree in natural science in 1962. He then began his graduate studies in cosmology at Trinity Hall, Cambridge, under the supervision of Dennis Sciama, a leading cosmologist. It was during this period that his life changed dramatically. Shortly after arriving at Cambridge, Hawking began experiencing coordination problems and frequent falls. Medical testing confirmed a diagnosis of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis (ALS), also known as motor neuron disease. Doctors gave him just 2 years to live. Initially devastated, Hawking considered giving up his studies. However, the slow progression of the disease, along with his engagement to Jane Wilde, gave him renewed purpose. 3. Doctoral research and the birth of a scientific vision. Despite the grim prognosis, Hawking threw himself into his doctoral research. His thesis focused on singularities, points in spacetime where gravitational forces cause matter to have infinite density and zero volume. At the time, singularities were considered mathematical abstractions with little physical relevance. Collaborating with Roger Penrose, Hawking applied the mathematical framework of general relativity to cosmology. Their work showed that singularities were not just confined to black holes but were likely present at the beginning of the universe. This conclusion led to the formulation of the singularity theorems, which provided theoretical proof that the universe had a beginning in a Big Bang. This research established Hawking's reputation as a rising star in theoretical physics. It also marked the beginning of his lifelong effort to unify general relativity, which governs large-scale structures, with quantum mechanics, which governs the subatomic world. 4. Black holes and Hawking radiation. In the early 1970s, Hawking shifted his focus to black holes. At the time, black holes were thought to be completely dark objects from which nothing, not even light, could escape. However, Hawking introduced quantum theory into the equation and came to a startling conclusion: black holes emit radiation. This radiation, now called Hawking radiation, is produced by quantum fluctuations near the event horizon. According to Hawking's theory, particle-antiparticle pairs form near the event horizon. One falls into the black hole while the other escapes, making it appear as though the black hole is emitting particles over astronomical timescales. This process could cause the black hole to evaporate and vanish entirely. Hawking's discovery was revolutionary. It linked the previously incompatible fields of quantum mechanics, general relativity, and thermodynamics, laying the groundwork for the eventual development of quantum gravity. Though Hawking radiation has yet to be observed directly, it remains one of the most important theoretical contributions in modern physics. 5. The information paradox and quantum gravity. Hawking's prediction that black holes could evaporate created a paradox. If black holes vanish, what happens to the information they contained? Quantum mechanics insists that information is conserved, but Hawking's initial interpretation suggested that it could be lost forever, a direct violation of quantum principles. This paradox, known as the black hole information paradox, triggered a decades-long debate among physicists. For much of his career, Hawking maintained that information was lost. However, in 2004, he reversed his position and presented a new solution, suggesting that information might be preserved after all, possibly encoded in the Hawking radiation itself. The black hole information paradox remains unresolved, but Hawking's work on the subject continues to inspire efforts to develop a unified theory of quantum gravity. His courage to publicly change his stance also demonstrated his commitment to truth over ego. 6. Cosmological theories and the no-boundary proposal. In addition to black holes, Hawking was deeply interested in the origin and structure of the universe. In 1983, he and physicist James Hartle proposed the no-boundary proposal, a model suggesting that the universe has no boundaries in imaginary time. This idea removes the need for a singular beginning and proposes that the universe is finite but unbounded. The Hartle-Hawking model became an essential part of quantum cosmology and sparked widespread interest. It used a mathematical technique called Euclidean path integrals and suggested that the laws of quantum mechanics could describe the entire universe, including its beginning. Hawking also supported the theory of cosmic inflation, which posits that the universe underwent exponential expansion in its earliest moments. These contributions significantly advanced our understanding of cosmology and the early universe. 7. Popular science and global recognition. Stephen Hawking became a global icon in 1988 with the publication of his book, A Brief History of Time. The book was written for a general audience and aimed to explain the nature of time, the universe, and black holes in layman's terms, despite its technical complexity. It sold over 25 million copies and remained on bestseller lists for years. The success of the book turned Hawking into a household name. He became a frequent guest on television shows, gave public lectures around the world, and featured in documentaries. His distinctive computerized voice and wheelchair became symbols of human perseverance and intellectual brilliance. Hawking followed up with other popular books, including The Universe in a Nutshell, The Grand Design, and Brief Answers to the Big Questions. His ability to communicate complex scientific ideas in accessible language helped inspire a new generation of scientists. 8. Personal life and challenges. Hawking's personal life was marked by both love and hardship. He married Jane Wilde in 1965, and together they had 3 children: Robert, Lucy, and Timothy. Jane supported Stephen through the most challenging years of his diagnosis and helped him maintain a sense of normalcy. As Hawking's fame grew, so did the strains on their marriage. The demands of his condition, combined with his increasing public commitments, led to emotional distance. They divorced in 1995. Later that year, Hawking married Elaine Mason, one of his nurses. This marriage also ended in separation after 11 years. Despite physical limitations, Hawking maintained a rich and active life. He traveled extensively, participated in zero-gravity flights, and remained engaged in academic and public discourse until his final years. 9. Advocacy, ethics, and cultural impact. Hawking used his platform to address global issues. He warned about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence, suggesting that unchecked AI development could pose existential threats. He advocated for climate change action, nuclear disarmament, and space exploration as a means for human survival. In the cultural realm, Hawking made appearances on shows like The Simpsons, Star Trek, and The Big Bang Theory. His life story was adapted into the film The Theory of Everything, which won multiple awards and introduced his journey to new audiences. Hawking received numerous honors, including the Copley Medal, the Wolf Prize, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Though never awarded the Nobel Prize, his contributions to science, education, and culture were universally acknowledged. 10. Final years and legacy. Stephen Hawking continued to work and publish into his 70s. His final paper, published posthumously in 2018, addressed the multiverse and the predictability of the universe. He remained intellectually sharp until his death on March 14, 2018, coincidentally, the birthday of Albert Einstein and Pi Day. His ashes were interred at Westminster Abbey, alongside Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin, symbolizing his place among history's greatest scientists. Hawking's legacy endures not only through his scientific work but also through his example of courage, curiosity, and resilience. Stephen Hawking taught the world that physical limitations need not constrain the power of the mind. His life's work continues to influence theoretical physics, cosmology, and science communication. Above all, he reminded us to look up at the stars and not down at your feet.
Subscribe to my channel!